Musician or engineer, we've all been there. The client asks us to set up in the middle of a field, 50 meters away from any power, and granted, we could fix that with a very long extension lead, but often that is not practical. So we lean on or look for speakers that have powered options, such as the Bose S1, or maybe more recently the Mackie Showbox, which is also a great option for buskers. Now, there's no two ways of looking at it. The Showbox is a great solution. Mackie lovers or haters may think otherwise in terms of tone, but in terms of functionality and feature set, it's pretty outstanding. It's got a built-in battery. The built-in mixer has just every function I could think or want to use as a musician, such as a looper, tuner, effects, and I think you probably couldn't beat that in a really tight unit, but it has very limited use cases. Unless you're just busking, I think that there might be a better option than the Mackie Showbox, and we're going to try and find that today. Maybe even a stereo option to the Mackie Showbox. So let's find out and see if I can do it. As always with these videos, it seems, we're going to start on Foreman. My main reason on starting for Foreman this time is not what I've talked about before, which you can probably see in one of these videos on one of these sides. It's actually because it's just so easy to search on here. Finding what you need is just simplistic. We're going to go to PA speakers, battery powered speakers. Did you ask for more? I don't know. We're going to go low to high, obviously. And although I always rag on the fun generation speakers, in this case, they could be an option. You know, if you're just looking for something really cheap and kind of functional for a short period of time, spec-wise, this fun generation 108A isn't a million miles off of the Showbox. It's a lower output, but, you know, same speaker size. And I think these are actually based on the Behringer PK series. They look really, really similar. Like these flanges in the ports, I'm sure the PK series had those. I do always laugh and joke about the fact that these have wheels, and that shouldn't be on any PA speaker, but maybe that's functional and usable in this case and this use scenario. So yeah, £67. You could get more than stereo. You get 4 of those. You could get 6 of those. I don't think you want 6, but you could. They do a 12-inch variant as well. Probably a little bit more sound and power and low end, especially out of that. But I want some idea of quality at the very least on these. And what about these Behringer B1Cs? These look pretty functional all round, but I then noticed for not much more, you can actually get these Sheeran looper buskers. And I did remember seeing these function. This is a B stock one, but I think on the next page, you've got one here. Now, if I were given the options, if I were a busker and I was looking between the Showbox and the Sheeran looper, I could get 2 of these for the Showbox. For the same price, for the same value, I can get 2 of these battery powered units, and I think these have mega batteries in them. Yeah, 24 hours in eco mode and 20 hours in standard. That's a really good battery size. It's got a USB charging port, which is so useful when you're busking. And I think it's got some cool in-app effects from what I remember. So it should sound pretty good as well. Do I think it's ultra powerful? Probably not, but it's super compact. And for this kind of use case, I've used the Bose S1 a few times while doing these acoustic sets, and they sound absolutely passable. You can stick them on a pole if you need to get them higher than the audience. And yeah, this one's just got really flexible usability. You know, we've got things like all our channel mic switches, effects levels, different effect selections. It's even got 48 volt phantom. That's pretty mad. And a main out. So you could probably get one of these and maybe one of those Behringer ones for a bit cheaper. Chain them together. that could just be your solution. 2 of these, and it looks like powered by Alto, so I imagine this is just identical to the Alto unit. Do Alto make? The Alto Busker is more expensive. Not really sure why it's more expensive. It looks exactly the same. It looks exactly the same. Yeah, it's exactly the same. It costs more to not have Ed Sheeran on your busking unit. I mean, I don't think anyone would necessarily know it's Ed Sheeran just by looking at it. So I would just get the Ed Sheeran one if I'm honest. But that's a cool little option. You could get 2 of those. If you weren't bothered about the streaming thing, that would probably do you. You know, you've got plenty of mixing options in there. And if you've got 2, obviously, 2 people can plug into each one and you'd have a bit of a stereo sound as well. Yeah, that might be an option, but we aren't looking for that. We're looking for something, like I said, could be a little bit more kind of, I think. If you want a second speaker for your Showbox, it's another £309. So if you wanted to double your output and have a stereo setup, which they are saying is 200 watts. So is the Showbox more powerful than that? I know it's rated at 400. Everything else looks the same. Mackie. There's one saying RMS and one saying peak. Continuous. Interesting. It's either got a different power amplifier, but like I said, you're looking at, if you wanted to stereo that, you're looking at nearly £1,000. So we're going to way beat that. We're going to try and get under the other one. As much as we all dislike the Behringer badge, this might not be a bad option for this use case. These little units are not massively powerful. What they rated at 160 watts, but the extra cone size, your cone area, is quite a bit more. You're talking about a 8-inch subwoofer and 4 almost 3-inch tweeters. So the coverage of the speaker cone area is quite a bit more than the Showbox. I think having it divided out between, you know, a sub unit and the tops also helps to kind of get a little bit better tone. Yes, the battery power is a lot lower, but for the most part these are being used for an hour to 3 hours at the very most. Charge it up after, you'll be fine. If you're busking, obviously maybe the Ed Sheeran one seems to have massively great battery life, but for our case, for something that's flexible and usable, I don't think you can go wrong with this. I think we add 2 of those to our baskets and move along to the mixer. Now, I have a feeling you know which mixer I'm going to pick if you have seen my previous videos, because it's going to come up when I go low to high. There it is, the Behringer Flow 8. We're keeping it all Behringer, the Behringer rig. This, for me, with 2 of those Behringer columns, is a super flexible setup. You've got 8 inputs. You could probably fit in a good amount of musicians into this with some headphone and monitor outputs as well, so you can all hear yourselves. And it's £166. And for the use case that we're looking at, most importantly, it is USB powered. So you can plug a USB power bank into this and suddenly you have a portable mixer, which is really functional. I think it runs off of Bluetooth as well, so you can communicate back and forth with that. I don't know if you can stream with that. If you could stream with that, that would be pretty amazing. It'd probably have quite a lot of lag, but still really cool. But I think the big thing is you're probably going to stick a laptop into the USB audio interface of this. And if you do that, obviously you get power from the laptop as well, I imagine. But most importantly, you get your 8 inputs and outputs. You can mix this in OBS like I'm recording this now. and you will end up with a much better end product because you can plug in a really nice camera like this Sony and it will look and sound good. If I was really trying to do that to the best of my ability, this is how I would be doing that. The Mackie Showbox kind of makes it easy. If you're not a techie person, if you want an easier life, then maybe the Mackie Showbox is the better option. However, if you are a sound engineer and you're going to rent these out or you're going to use these on multiple case solutions, maybe this could be an option. But I'm going to give you a better option a little bit later. Okay, but let's put this in our cart for now. Let's see what we come out at. We are at just a smidge over, £56 over, and we have got 2 stereo columns and the Behringer Flow 8. Yes, we need some way of joining into those speakers, and that might be a little bit more expensive. I think you can just jack out and get a dual mono jack, and it would probably be pretty cheap actually, maybe another 10, 15, £20 at the most. But for less than £100 more, we've got a whole lot more usage, something that is so much more flexible. And if there's 2 of you, you could send one speaker out with each of you, and you know, like you've got 2 setups that you could feasibly use. This for me is a much better value proposition. I think you'll get much more out of it. Now, I did say if you were a engineer, that there might be a better option again, and that goes for really, really breaking the bank. If we were to get rid of our Behringer and we move down to just one of our Behringer C210s, which is probably all you would need for most of these like acoustic outdoor situations, then we have quite a bit of budget. We've got kind of £350, is that right? Yeah, £350 in order to spend to meet that Showbox. And we're hopefully going to end up with something that's much more usable and much more flexible if you're an engineer. And that, for me, is the Zoom Livetrak L-8. £339. So if we add it to our basket now just to check, we are now below budget. So we've ended up with a mono column and a desk. So we're probably underpowered compared to our Showbox, but it will again probably do the job that you're looking to do with it. But we end up with the Livetrak, and the Livetrak is a great value proposition if you're looking for something that you will use more often. Not something that you just throw in your bag and every once in a while comes up. You can use this pretty effectively with 8-piece groups. So it does do like a weird stereo joining if you put your phone into it over Bluetooth, but that would take you down to a 6-piece band. But you can run it as an 8-piece group into this mixer. It's got really, really high quality effects built in and a really cool channel system. This channel strip system, if I can zoom in, you kind of pick which channel you want it on, and then you get all of your EQ and effects right in front of you. So even if you're a bit of a technophobe, it's pretty easy to work and function. It's got this kind of massive panel for recording, changing your scenes, changing your mixers. It's really tactile and easy to use. And the possibly biggest functional thing that it brings is it gives you 3 mixes of headphone. Or if you count having the same as the master, but I doubt that anyone is going to want the master output in their headphones. But that's enough monitoring for a small 3-piece acoustic act, or maybe a 4-piece if someone does want to just hear the front of house. And it's a great setup if you need to record podcasts. So if you need this extra use case of being able to record podcasts, this is a really great mixer for it. The way it records and overdubs and works in the record settings is made for that function, but it's super useful for live. You can record your live performances as well. Of course, it's got an SD slot, so you can plug an SD in there and you can record all your live performances. Super easy, and you might film it as well, and then you can just sync it up, and again, that will look great. It can be USB powered, or you can chuck in 4 AA batteries and it's completely wireless. Batteries are great, obviously, because if there's an issue, you can just chuck in a new set of batteries. And to top all of that off, it is a USB interface. So you can plug it into your computer, again, stream. I think it streams like 12 channels or something mad, maybe probably 8 channels. Let's have a look. 8 channels of signal. Record up to 12 tracks on SD. So I'm guessing that's probably your output channel. So your 4 output channels on top of the 8. And it looks like it's the same with USB recording as well. But yeah, this is a great solution in being super portable when you've got those acoustic outside things, and having the second function that if you need to record a podcast or even maybe a small group, it's also really powerful at doing that and really simple to do. So in a way, I would probably aim towards this as much as we could have the stereo thing. I would grab this. I mean, you could probably get one of those Ed Sheeran boxes if you didn't want that Behringer PA, but this for me is the option I would go for. So if you like this video, then you might want to check out my video where I built a PA for £1,000 on Foman, the beautiful website. And if you like this kind of thing or PA stuff, then you can subscribe to my channel up here, and all the links to everything in this video are in the description below. Until next time, see you later.